Guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mia. I have today my wrap-up video for the month of May. I did alright with a total of 6 reads. Here is the breakdown. So out of those 6 reads, I read 2 novels, 3 graphic novels, and 1 fairy tale retelling. Some of these stories were really enjoyable, others were not as enjoyable as I had hoped they would be. I had 2 3-star reads, 2 4-star reads. So as per usual, I will start with my least favorite reads and I'll move my way up to my most favorite reads for the month. The first thing I picked up last month was actually Mouse by Spiegelman. This is volume 1 and I was very excited about this story because I've heard so many amazing things. This is a survival story based on World War II, and this depicts the Nazi people as the cats and the Jewish people as the mouse. And I thought this was going to be amazing because I love graphic novels, especially biography graphic novels. I feel they help me understand the facts of the story better. But for some reason, this one was a little bit of a letdown for me. I did enjoy the art style, which is black and white. That's just a little glimpse at it. So the art style was very nice and I thought it was very fitting to the storyline. The only thing I think that made the story less enjoyable for me was, first, the family relationship between the characters was just not a very good one. The son, for one, didn't seem to be interested really in his father or anything that had to do with him. In the contrary, he seemed very irritated with his father and just frustrated with him. And the way that he depicted his father in the story seemed very negative in a way. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I don't think it did for me what I was hoping the story would do. Like, I wanted to connect with those times and just feel for the characters, and I wanted to have that emotional attachment. And the disattachment between the characters just made that very difficult for me to be able to connect with the characters as much. Very close to my family, so I just couldn't understand why their relationship was so negative. And it was an interesting story, but I didn't understand the ending and I didn't understand the characters' relationships either. So I guess it was just not the right story for me, which is why I gave it 3 stars. I also picked up this one here, which is The Sleeper and the Spindle, and this is a retelling of The Sleeping Beauty by Neil Gaiman, and the illustrations are by Chris Riddle. The illustrations were really pretty and the story was interesting as well. It was relatively similar to The Sleeping Beauty. I just didn't enjoy it again as much, and that's kind of crazy because I love Neil Gaiman and I thought I was really going to love this story. But for some reason I just couldn't really connect with it. I found myself dragging, even though it's a very small story. And I just didn't quite understood the story as much as I wanted to. It was still enjoyable, it was just not as enjoyable as I had expected it to be. I may have raised my expectations a little bit too much, me being a fan of Neil Gaiman and all, but I still liked it, just not as much as I thought I would. And this was another 3-star read. I'll show you a little bit of the artwork because I did think the artwork was pretty interesting. It's all basically black and white with just touches of gold. There you go. It is basically, like I said, the Sleeping Beauty story but retold in a different way. The most interesting thing was that the prince that came to wake up the Sleeping Beauty, or that went on that journey, was not a prince but a princess, so that was very neat. The prince herself turned out to be the evil one. The one that was in the sleeping curse was the evil one, and the real princess that needed to be saved was an old lady because she had been robbed of her youth. And it was interesting, it was just not what I had personally expected it to be. Then I picked up Tsukuru Takashi and His Years of Pilgrimage, and this is by Haruki Murakami, and I really enjoyed this novel. I don't really know why. I think it was just the writing style, the way that the story itself was told really pulled me in, and I really wanted to read more. The storyline itself was nothing out of this world. It was not the most extraordinary story. It was just really following this one character and trying to find out what happened years in the past. And it was an interesting story, but what I liked the most was the way it was written. This particular story did have a very gray tone, like it felt very sad for the most part for no specific reason. It was just very, like, the entire storyline was just very sad, and I don't know, it was like no aspirations, no motivation, just like that. But I actually really enjoyed it. Basically, the story obviously follows Sukuru Takashi. He had this very, very close relationship with 4 other people. They had this very tight group of 5 people that were very close friends in high school. And then after he went to college, shortly after he went to college, they cut him off completely, and that really has made an impact in his life. So as an adult, he's trying to figure out what really happened and why his friends decided to, out of the blue, just cut him off and never even giving him a reason, nothing. So he searches for them and goes back and confronts them again as an adult and finds out what actually happened then and what brought all of that issue between them to happen and how he dealt with it and whatnot. Basically, it was him finding closure on that part of his life and being able to move on from it so that he can hopefully create new relationships and feel like a normal person again, since he's always had something missing because of that friendship that he lost so suddenly. So it was a very interesting story. I decided to give it 4 stars. Then I picked up at the library Shakespeare's Hamlet in a graphic novel format, and I was so excited when I saw this. Honestly, I was super hyped because I was actually looking for Hamlet because I wanted to reread it because I read it a long time ago and I didn't even speak English fluently then, so I obviously didn't understand anything about this story. So I wanted to reread it again, and when I found this I was like, perfect, that's gonna be a fantastic way to really understand the story and to read it very fast, and just I was psyched to see this. The art on this one is by Neil Babra, and I honestly really enjoyed this story. It's obviously as sad as I expected it to be and as tragic and a little mad, but I really enjoyed it. The artwork I think was extremely fitting to the entire story. It's just black and white artwork, but it was an enjoyable story. I really like stories such as this one, and I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to reread it in a fast way and understand it better than I did the first time I read it. So I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I also picked up A Long Walk to Water by Linda Supart. This is based on a true story, and I loved this story. I've also read another story by Linda Supart. I think it's called A Single Shard, I believe, and I really enjoyed it as well. But this one was very heartwarming, and the characters, like the whole storytelling was just absolutely beautiful. Basically, the story is based on 2 perspectives. So there's 2 characters. They're both from Southern Sudan, and let me see if I can find their names because I'm horrible with names. The boy is named Salva and the girl is named Nia. Anyways, the story is mainly focused through Salva's perspective. As a young boy, he had a very difficult life. He lost his entire family due to war, and he spent years of his life traveling, just walking to safety. Eventually, he does end up in America, and he ends up founding a water charity kind of thing where it brings water to people in Southern Sudan. And the other girl, Naya, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, she is from a tribe that is been known to have issues with his tribe. So they've been enemies for a while. they've been fighting over the water. And this is her story, how she also had to walk a long distance every day to get clean water, and their water was not clean at all, but she had to walk a long distance every day to collect some water, and they have to take a different trip to a different area so that they can survive during the dry months, because otherwise they would die. So it's about her and her family, as well as him and his life story. And their lives collide because once Salva becomes a grown man, he makes it his mission to save the rest of the people, or at least be able to provide them with water. So he creates this entire organization that helps people in his, not just in his town, but all around, you know, to gather water. And he one day ends up meeting Naya once he brings water to her town. So it's a beautiful, very heartwarming, very motivating story, and it just leaves you wanting to do more for your world and for those around you, because it's just one of those inspirational stories that you just think, if this person can do it, why can't I? Why can't I do something similar? Why can't I help others as well? I love this story, so I gave it 5 stars. The last thing that I picked up this month was Amulet, and this is by Kazu Kibuishi, and this is book 1, The Stone Keeper. I really enjoyed this story. I loved the artwork, and the storyline was very interesting as well, and I thought it was very well thought and put together. Basically, it's about a family, and the father in the family passes away in a tragic accident, so the mother moves away with the daughter and the son. They move into this old house that has belonged to the family for many years, and it was, I think, her mom's great uncle or something like that. And anyways, as they're cleaning the house, she finds this amulet, and that's just the beginning of their journey. Basically, there's an entire world that I'm assuming is like a parallel world with their regular world, and she is to inherit that world, and she is to protect the creatures that her great-grandfather created, because he is passing away. He is very sick and he's dying. So as she takes this responsibility, her mom ends up getting kidnapped, and they're trying to rescue her, and there's this other creatures trying to fight them, and it was just very interesting, full of action, and I just can't wait to continue reading it and see what happens in this world and what happens to these kids and what happens next. I'm very intrigued by that. So I ended up giving this one 5 stars. I'll show you a little peek of the art because I really did enjoy it quite a lot. That's what the art looks like. These are the things that I read in the month of May. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll try to have another video for you soon. If you do enjoy my videos, please give me thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to see more. That's just very helpful to me because it lets me know that you guys are enjoying what I'm doing. I hope you have a wonderful day, and like I said, I'll see you soon. Bye!